All right, we've spent a ton of time mapping out exactly why the old financial system is broken for you. We've talked about the rise of AI, and we know tokenized real-world assets are inevitable. But today we are crossing a massive threshold. We're moving out of the realm of structural analysis and diving straight into live deployment. Today we're unpacking the Sigma BankAI Testnet and its sovereign finance manifesto. This is all about moving beyond theory, because as you're about to see, just understanding how the system works is really only half the battle.
So let's jump right into this. There's a core philosophy driving this entire manifesto, and it hits hard. Theory without execution is merely a luxury entertainment asset. I love that phrasing. It's incredibly fascinating to sit around and analyze how legacy financial structures fail us, right? But doing that without actually taking direct executional action, it means absolutely nothing. This manifesto is basically drawing a line in the sand. It argues that the era of just watching the global economy change from the sidelines is totally over. It is demanding active participation.
Which brings us to literally the most critical question you can ask yourself right now. Are you a user or are you an owner? Seriously, think about your true role in the financial ecosystem for a second. Every single time you send a remittance back home to your family, every time you pay a utility bill, or every time you cash out at a micro ATM in an emerging market, which side of the equation are you actually on?
Here is the stark reality we all have to confront. You already move the system. Every transaction you make is pushing real, tangible value through the global financial rails. You are the fuel. The whole infrastructure relies entirely on your daily actions. And yet, despite being the absolute lifeblood of this massive network, you remain completely shut out from the true benefits and that compounding upside the system generates.
Think about the passive financial users for a minute, because this is where the vast majority of people are sitting today. They pay absolutely absurd transaction fees just for the privilege of accessing their own money. They borrow at crazy high rates, and they just watch value bleed out of their accounts faster than it arrives. Now contrast them with active infrastructure owners. Owners hold equity. They earn yield directly from the rails themselves. They are benefiting enormously from the exact transaction flows that you, the user, are creating. And when you look at how this plays out geographically, the numbers are just staggering. In frontier and emerging markets, this ratio is brutal. You have tens of millions of people trapped in that user lane, literally losing billions annually to predatory remittance fees, while a very, very tiny fraction act as owners. This incredible, frankly unacceptable gap is exactly what the Sigma BankAI Testnet was built to attack and completely dismantle.
So, how do we actually fix this? First, we have to look at the current flow of a standard remittance. Step 1, a diaspora worker sends the money. Step 2, it arrives as physical cash or maybe a basic digital balance. Step 3, it is immediately consumed just to meet basic survival needs. That's it. The money's journey just dies at the exact point of consumption. It never, ever gets the chance to become anything more than temporary relief.
But what if we completely replace that dead end with programmable rails? Watch how this flips the script into something genuinely revolutionary. The raw remittance doesn't just die anymore. Instead, a portion of it seamlessly converts into stablecoins, which then automatically flow into a curated portfolio of tokenized assets, ultimately generating sustainable yield. We are talking about transforming raw survival capital into compounding long-term ownership and doing it at zero marginal cost. It's a total game changer.
Now, if you aren't living and breathing this stuff every day, terms like DeFi and smart contracts can sound super intimidating. So let's quickly demystify the core tech making this possible. A tokenized asset is simply a complex financial instrument, maybe a stock, a treasury bond, or a real-world infrastructure project, represented as a simple, digital, on-chain asset. Think of it kind of like a digital deed to a house, but applied to literally any asset in the world. It lives directly in your digital wallet and follows strict, mathematically transparent rules. This is the key that unlocks the rails for true sovereign finance.
But here's the thing, technology needs a guide. And that is where the second pillar of this manifesto comes in, AI agents. And to be clear, these are not just basic chatbots. These are highly intelligent background assistants running cryptographic audits instantly. Imagine having a personal financial coach sitting right beside you, explaining your risk, suggesting portfolio moves, and gently nudging your behavior away from that cash-only dependency toward a true ownership-first mindset. They completely bypass the manual delays and the predatory middlemen of the old world.
Let's actually look under the hood for a second. Through Sigma's automated protocol, a local business can take their localized operational data, let the AI audit it entirely privately, and validate its revenue integrity.
The system then generates an on-chain risk profile and instantly matches it with global regulations to ensure complete automatic compliance. It is just a stunning piece of engineering. It literally turns a complex, multi-month traditional banking ordeal into an instantaneous digital process.
The result of this crazy automated process? Zero margin cost syndication. Because the AI and smart contracts are handling all the heavy lifting of compliance and auditing, a local enterprise can become fully capitalized without ever stepping foot into a traditional investment bank. The asset is minted directly onto hyper-efficient DeFi rails. Boom. It is now live, it's globally visible, entirely compliant, and ready to be used as programmatic collateral anywhere in the decentralized ecosystem.
All right. This is where the Manifesto shifts its focus directly to you. Because the ultimate goal here isn't just to hand you a slightly better digital wallet. The goal is to turn you into a node. A node is an active infrastructure participant. Instead of just sending a payment and paying a fee, your device is actually helping power the system. You're validating network activity, and in return, you are earning rewards. You completely stop being a passive customer, and you actually become the infrastructure itself. By stepping up and becoming an early node on the Sigma BankAI Testnet, you stop paying fees and you start earning altcoin rewards. You receive free remittance credits. You get to actively shape how future services roll out to your specific community, and you get early access to tokenized financial services way before the broader traditional market even knows they exist. You are quite literally getting paid to help secure your own financial freedom.
And this brilliantly illustrates what the Manifesto calls sovereign symbiosis. We are talking about true frontier-first digital sovereignty. It's not just empowering individuals, right? It means governments can issue smaller denomination tokenized sovereign debt directly to their citizens. We're talking energy-backed microgrids bringing real tangible assets on-chain. Governments and local founders can completely bypass legacy banking limitations and share yield streams directly with the citizens who are acting as nodes on the network.
Now, what's really interesting about this transition is the stark contrast defining our current financial era. On one side, you have these decaying legacy rails, existing alongside the superficial, speculative hype of early crypto. But let me be perfectly clear. Actually, scratch that, I'll just say it. That era of empty promises is completely dead. The market is aggressively filtering out the noise. On the other side, you have functional, verifiable infrastructure and sovereign capital. Serious capital requires verifiable code, and that is exactly what this testnet brings to the table.
The Manifesto makes an incredibly powerful, urgent declaration right here. The sandbox is open for verification. The code is already live on distributed nodes. This is no longer just some design document or a nice theory drawn on a whiteboard. Whether you are a software developer, a local founder, or honestly just someone tired of paying outrageous fees to move your own money, the call to action is to stop being a passive consumer. The infrastructure is built, it works, and it is waiting for you to verify it.
It's time to initialize the connection. The instruction from the Manifesto is absolute and uncompromising. Access the terminal link in the pinned comment. Deploy your first asset wrapper. Take control of the infrastructure. Turn the machine on. It's a calm but absolute demand for you to step out of the old world and begin actively co-authoring the new financial rails.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought today. Are you going to stay a passive user, endlessly paying fees and just hoping a clearly broken system suddenly decides to treat you kindly? Or will you take control, become an owner, spin up a node, and actually co-author the new rails of sovereign capital? The frontier isn't a place on a map, guys. It's a decision you make. Thanks for tuning in today. Keep learning, and let's keep building.